Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SportsGamer and our continued coverage of the ECL Elite Division postseason. My name is Doogie, joined this time out by one Mr. B Major. And Major, today, well, today's the day that we figure out who our first finalist will be. Which one of these two teams will be heading to Assembly in Helsinki in a month's time? We're going to find out. It is Parasite and Voittamaton finishing up their series after a 1-1 split yesterday. How you feeling about what we're going to see tonight?
It should be a really fun watch. Obviously, both games yesterday between Parasite and Voittamaton very, very close. And then the series between Totredit and Musta Kulta, all but entertaining as well. So two great series that we were really looking forward to. Both have delivered so far. And as you mentioned, we're going to get that 1 versus 4 matchup. One of those two teams in Parasite or Voittamaton going to punch their ticket into the finals. Two really close games yesterday. Voittamaton even stealing a game from Parasite. Just the second game all season that Parasite has lost. So going to be really interesting to see how these two match up and what adjustments are made after the pair of matchups yesterday.
So again, it is the best of 7 series, essentially now a best of 5. As you mentioned, Parasite just the 1 loss in the regular season. Well, they did drop 1 to Voittamaton already. Of course, the top 4 ended up being our final 4. And we'll see if Voittamaton can pull off the upset here. A astonishing 26-point gap between them and Parasite in the regular season. Well, it all comes down to these next couple of games here, as we'll get a look at, well, let's take a look at the team stats here first. Why not? And get a comparison of these two teams and what they've looked like so far this postseason. And, well, Major, I mean, the key here, looks to be the goals against being lower for Voittamaton, but of course we know for Parasite, the difference there kind of comes down to that wild game number 4 against Goons.
Yeah, and it's funny because obviously the goals for and the goals against a little bit higher for Parasite, but as you mentioned, that game 4 against Goons kind of skews things a little bit. And if you take into account the goal differential alone, they're even. They both have an exact 8 goal differential so far in these playoffs, the same exact power play percentage, the same exact penalty kill percentage. So really, even though you kind of look at things at a surface level and you're like, okay, Parasite scoring a little more, but Voittamaton is allowing less goals. Really, there's not a whole lot of advantage for either of these two teams. They're pretty even right down the middle. And I think both games yesterday, both being decided by just a singular goal, kind of tells that story a little bit as well. So going to be interesting to see which one of these two teams can kind of create a little bit of separation from the other.
Let's get a look now at the lineups for this matchup tonight. We'll have one change to discuss, but for Voittamaton, it is Tempinen, Patslav, and Eki as the front 3, with Jamal, the man and Flyer Coogan in goal, and Hansalino between the pipes. While on the other side, Vatu, Benito, and Nickit Angles, the front 3 for Parasite, with Tombo and Temu on defense, and Finsere steps in for their goaltending position. Of course, we'll talk more about that shortly. Let's start off, as we always do, with that center comparison. It's Patslav and Benito. I mean, Major, I talked about it yesterday during the first 2 games of this series. These two guys have gone head-to-head so many times, and of course, the numbers pretty close to even.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find another center matchup throughout the league to where you have two guys that are as familiar with each other and each other's tendencies as Patslav and Benito are. They've played against each other countless of times. They've played for championships. They've played for titles. They've both won a title or multiple titles against one another. So, it's always interesting to see these two match up just because they're both so skilled, so experienced, but again, all of the history between one another. And I think there's few positions to where a lot of those tendencies and the things that you learn from the past from your opponent kind of come into play, then that center match matchup. So going to be really, really fun to watch which one of these two are going to be able to step up for their respective teams. Also, these two longtime captains as well. So can't wait to see Benito and Patslav match up. Is obviously that's something we have seen just countless of times in these playoffs over the last few years.
Of course, up next, we have the winger comparison to look at. Tempinen and Eki squaring off against Vatu and Nicky Dangles. And of course, that's the tough job for anybody playing Parasite Mages, trying to shut down the dynamic duo on the other side. Need to see a big night out of Eki, and especially Tempinen at just a point per game, which is, crazy to say. Hey, a point per game might not be enough.
Yeah, I think Tempinen is someone that's really going to have to step up for this Voittamaton team. I mean, you have to remember he tied with Eki for the most goals on this team in the regular season with 27, ended with 54 points. Tempinen is a quality goal scorer. He's a quality point producer, and so far he just kind of seemed to kind of lose his stride a little bit throughout these first 6 playoff games or 7 playoff games he's played, but nevertheless, Tempinen, a very good player, and we know the dynamic duo between him and Eki and how much of the offense really does drive through those two and their connection, so he's going to have to find a way to step up, and then you see Vatu and Nicky Dangles on the other side, how great they have been all season long, both of them, shattering both personal and league-wide records. It's going to be fun to see how Voittamaton tries to kind of slow those two down. There's not really a whole lot you can do to stop them, obviously, but if you can just try to slow them down just a little bit, it gives you at least a chance to keep in this game.
Of course, we also have our defensive comparison coming up here, as again, we have Yamal the Man and Flyer Kungan going head-to-head here against Tombo and Temu. We'll get those numbers up for you in a moment. But Major, when talking about these four, it's very similar to that winger comparison, where, again, it's just a tremendous amount of talent across the board.
Yeah, a tremendous amount of talent. And, it's interesting because, you talk about just the matchups and how familiar these two are with each other. I don't think there's anyone better that knows that than Eki, who has played against this Parasite team and a lot of the guys on this Parasite team at different positions, at center, at winger, at defense. It feels like he's going to have to be someone that really does step up and kind of lead the charge, something we've seen him do plenty of times before. We talk about Tempinen, we talk about Vatu, we talk about Nicky Dangles. You cannot do that without talking about Eki. He always seems to be that one person for Voittamaton, time in, time out, that steps up. I'm really interested to see if he can do that against arguably the most overall talented team that he has faced against in the semifinals.
Well, in regards to Eki, we were actually able to get a quick word with him before these games continued, so let's hear from him now.
Elite and questions answered. Semifinals. I think the games yesterday were positive for us. The whole playoffs, we played easily our best hockey in the entire season, so I hope to keep that going. And I truly feel like we can match up with Parasite when we play our best. We just haven't been at our A level yet. They've been by far the more consistent team throughout the year. But if we play like we did yesterday, keep on improving like we have, I honestly feel like we have a solid shot to win the whole series. Then question 2. Most of the players on both teams have a long history of playing against each other. How much does that matter going into the series? Obviously, it's a factor. I think they know our tendencies, we know their tendencies, so it's all about who performs the best. But at the same time, both of our rosters have had changes, and these lineups haven't played each other before in the playoffs. And I'll tell you, playoffs is a whole different game compared to regular season. Everybody has more focus, teams come in way more prepared, at least we do. So yeah, it's a factor, but in this series, maybe not as big of a factor as you might think.
All right there, Major. We were able to hear from Eki as mentioned. And, well, any quick thoughts on that before we get into talking about these defenders a little bit more in depth?
I think just the confidence coming from Eki, Tugi. I mean, all of the talk all season long has just been how dominant Parasite is and how it's going to be so tough to find a team that can match up with them, let alone beat them. I mean, you heard Eki. He said it. If we play our game and we play the way we're capable of, I think we can win the series. He even said that he feels like Voittamaton hasn't reached their A game yet. So if Voittamaton can reach that top level that Eki is referring to, things could get really interesting. I mean, they were able to steal a game yesterday. They only lost game 2, 1-0. So, I mean, I think it goes to show you that confidence. There's some reason for Eki to have it. So, going to be interesting to see how that all turns into the day.
Of course, our final head-to-head, well, we talked about the defenders here as well, but our final head-to-head here, as we look to get the action underway shortly, is the battle of the goaltenders. And this is the one, well, that really stands out here, Major, because you have Hanselinho going up this time against Finsere. You have Parasite sticking with the goalie rotation after Nikke started the first 2 games yesterday. Finsere's numbers not as impressive as they could have been, given those 2 games against Goons. And of course, we mentioned game number 4, where, well, the wheels kind of fell off on both sides. But, you know, in terms of a very experienced goaltender, former goaltender of the season, you don't put it past him to be able to have a great set of games here tonight. But in a way, he essentially needs to.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know Hanselinho, the history, how great he is come playoff time. I mean, he has been just nothing short of phenomenal. I think you could argue he's been easily one of the best and most consistent goaltenders of the playoffs so far, with just under an 84 save percentage, a pair of shutouts to boot as well. And then you talk about Finsere on the other side, right? I mean, obviously the numbers not particularly impressive, especially because of that game 4 against Goons. Not really his fault. Obviously, I think Parasite kind of lost focus a little bit there, and Finsere had to, pay a little bit of the price for that. But nevertheless, Finsere is still one of the top goalies in this league, was one of the top goalies in the regular season. I mean, Tugi, you talk about the 75 save percentage. You have to remember, Finsere's save percentage in the regular season was 85 in 14 games played. This is one of the best goalies in Europe, no doubt about it. Both of these 2 guys are. It's going to be a lot of fun to see them go head to head. And hey, we've seen it in this series countless times. That one big save, that one stretch that a goaltender can stand on his head and it leads to an opportunity on the other side. That can very well be the decider that flips the game or even flips the series in their team's momentum. So these 2 going to be very, very important throughout the rest of the series.
Again, we are just about ready to go. The action kicking off game 3. Of course, we'll be covering this series here until its conclusion in this particular matchup. Again, Parasite losing, well, just 1 game up to this point until they ran into Voittamaton, losing for just the 2nd time this season. We'll see if Voittamaton are able to get it done. Again, one of these 2 teams will be a finalist, will be competing live at Assembly in Helsinki in just a little bit over a month's time. And of course, on Wednesday, we'll be figuring out who their opponent will be as Mustakalta and Totori wrap up our other semifinal. But for now, our focus is here on this matchup. Teams we thought were going to be, well, about ready to begin. And of course, you end up with a nice little lobby error to kick us off here. It wouldn't be a broadcast without a couple of lobby errors, I do suppose. But hey, we digress here in terms of what else we have going on. But Major, again, thoughts on what we have for this matchup? Anything else that maybe we didn't get to discuss?
Yeah, I think just kind of talking about the defensive pairings, I know we didn't go too in depth with those guys. I mean, Parasite and Voittamaton, I mean, 2 really, really strong defensive teams. Obviously, you have Tombo and Teemu on the side of Parasite. Both of them have been absolutely phenomenal. We know what Teemu has been able to do on the offensive end, especially for Parasite, his ability to step up and really make things happen on the offensive end. While for the side of Voittamaton, you have Flyer Kungen, and then on the lefty side next to him, you have Jamal the Man, who was an addition for his Voittamaton team, transferred from Exxon. This is his first time really playing against this Parasite team in a series like this. I'm really interested to see how he steps up. He's been great in these playoffs so far, 9 points in 7 games, including a goal. I think the defense in this series is going to be really, really important, and I'm excited to see which one of those two kind of steps up and makes that extra difference, because we talk so much about how dynamic both wing duos are. The defense, they're going to be action one and trying to stop those guys and slow them down. So the defensive pairings, I think, going to be a really, really fun thing to watch for both of these teams.
Again, we should be just a few moments ago to get the action all back underway, the continuation of this series. And again, we'll see just what happens in this particular matchup as you look at a team like Parasite and what they've been able to do this season. Very much still expected to be the favorites, but it got a little bit more interesting now, didn't it? With Voittamaton proving that they can get the victory here, and a frozen webcam as well. But man, look at that gorgeous face right there. That's beautiful. There we go. Up, still, yep, there it is. We're having a great time today, aren't we?
That's what it's all about, right? It's all about having fun around these parts.
You laugh so you don't cry. It is game number 3. Parasite and Voittamaton getting ready to go head to head, as we will see who is able to take advantage of this series. Parasite, of course, winning game 2 to tie this up. See now again what happens here in game 3. Who will have that advantage? We are going to find out. This game is underway, and it is Voittamaton in the attacking zone early on. Up there. Emu in front of goal. Sets up Parasite down the other way. Nice poke check by Flyer Kungan. Pass back in front's picked off. Play over. Tempinen on the far side wing. Tried to hit Botzloff down low. Deep pass. Voittamaton again trying to get established in the attacking end. Eki the feed in front for Tempinen. Big early stop for Finsere.
We talked about the goaltending going to be so fun to watch. Finsere and Hanselinho, both goalies that can really step up and make that critical save. Finsere already being tested early here in this game.
Short side attempt. Hits the side of the net. Now down the other way. Tombo's pass picked off. One again trying to work their way in. Up back, Yamal the man. Nice protection. Avoid Benito. One-timer from the point, blocked down as Botzloff was covering at the blue line. And here again from Parasite. Vatu not able to hold on to it. There's Voittamaton again, heading down the other way. Tempinen not able to work his way past the defense, though, as these two teams, for the most part, continuing to neutralize one another. Angles. Not sure if he did want Teemu. He was ready to fire that one-timer. Benito back over. And in front for Vatu on the backhand. A second chance. Ramps over the back glass, but a couple of looks there for Parasite.
And that's what Parasite does. They love to work that puck around and cause a lot of chaos. And when they get in that offensive zone, it's so hard to bring them out because of their way to move the puck and create opportunities.
Movement here for Parasite in the attacking zone. Combo to the open corner. Covered by Nicky Dangles. One-timer for Vatu. Good save on Hanselinho. Contact at the line. Teemu for Benito. The toe drag shot. Caught by Hanselinho.
Now we're seeing Hanselinho tested here a little bit after Finsere had that early shot on early. Already 4 shots that Hanselinho has faced here, and most of them over the last couple of minutes. Voittamaton going to have to try to find a way to counter and get a little bit of pressure because Parasite's starting to really take advantage of that time.
Full pressure, still 20 seconds left in it. Good movement here. And find some space. Benito the force intercepted by Tempinen. As a puck back into the zone, finally played out. Kill off the pressure. Very tired legs for Eki as his centering feed picked off. Now the chance in front. What a stop for Hanselinho with Vatu on the doorstep.
I wouldn't have minded a reset there for Voittamaton. Had a defender behind and tried to force it up. All of the skaters of Voittamaton with tired legs as well, so it was kind of tough for them to really get out of the zone and do anything on the rush, but it looks like they've recovered well here.
Zeki for Potzloff, a save, wraparound bid, that one denied as well. Have an icing call here against Parasite, just under 4 minutes left in the period.
Yeah, and Parasite, a few chances. They had that full pressure. They had Voittamaton with tired legs, but just were not able to find that one grade A opportunity that could beat Hanselinho. And a great save throw and that fifth shot to stop Parasite. And now Parasite trying to find their way to the offensive zone again.
Offside call here on Voittamaton. That'll slow us down again. Looking for the game's first goal. So you have to find the back of the net first. Dangles can't work his way through. Tempinen, similar issues. There's Teemu. One end to the other. Has Benito with him. Dangles tries the short side. Side of the netting yet again. Good hit there. And as opportunity here for Teemu. Final minute of play. Not able to work his way through. Lose puck to the other side. Another save. Tracking from Hansu. One more chance here. One-timer attempt picked off, and that will do it. The opening frame. Again, still no goals here. Not for a lack of trying. Some decent chances.
Yeah, not from the lack of trying, not from the lack of opportunity. As you mentioned that last save there from Hansu, that was arguably one of the better chances of the period for either side, but just a better save made by Hanselinho. And really, this is kind of what we saw yesterday, right? I mean, both teams kind of getting some opportunities here and there, you know, mostly though, a lot of defense, a lot of goaltending that has really kind of stepped up to the forefront. And it just feels like this is going to be a Series 2 where it's about who is able to take advantage of the opportunities, who's going to be able to strike that big play, and who's going to be able to, when they get that chance to where it is a clear great opportunity, those odd man rushes, those breakaways, those 2-on-1s, who's going to be able to strike and find that goal. It feels like the team that's able to do that the most is going to be the one that probably ends up winning a lot of these games, just because the opportunities are few and far between the way these defenses are playing and the way the goaltenders are stepping up behind them. It just feels like this is going to be a game of execution and taking advantage of the opportunities to come.
We get ready here for the second period of play. As always, the action brought to you by our friends at Kovalan Lockwood. It is game number 3 between Parasite and Voittamaton. Winner of this series is off to our finals in a little bit over a month's time as Teemu stepping in tries the short side. Penalty called here on Eki, so the first power play of this game belongs to Parasite.
Yeah, and remember we talked about the power play for Parasite, 50% in the playoffs coming into today. They were also the best power play in the division during the regular season at 45.9%. So this is a dangerous Parasite power play. Voittamaton going to have to step up defensively. Eki, one of their better defensive players as well, despite being a forward. So that's a big loss. Let's see if Voittamaton can kill it off.
We'll go to work here. Tombo. His pass intercepted. Yamal, the man, trying to lead things down the other way. Good breakup by Benito. As that one doesn't go down. Chip check. Trying to break that loose. Benito, great chance. Hanselinho wasn't fully on that post. Still made the save. Probably here, Flyer Kungen trying to get this puck out. Can't do it. Dragged towards the goal. Otzloff unable to clear. 30 seconds left on the man advantage. Teemu wants the one-timer for Nicky Dangles. Defense is still there. Vatu. Back for Benito, back to 5-on-5. Shot there is saved. As Voittamaton survived the scare. Scramble for the puck. Nicky Dangle's the one to come up with it. Now Teemu tries to step in and take a shot. Blocked by the defense in front. Another chance there for Benito. Another great save for Hanselinho. Positioning paying off. Full pressure intact here.
I'm kind of surprised Voittamaton, okay, there we go. I was going to say, I'm kind of surprised they're not going to use the timeout, especially considering that they were hemmed in their own zone for the entirety of that penalty kill. Now you have the full pressure to deal with on top of it, to where really you have one player on the ice that maybe has energy in Eki, and then outside of him, pretty much nothing but dead legs out there. So I like the decision to call the timeout, especially in a game like this, the 0-0. You do not want Parasite to get that one goal. Remember, they got one goal in game 2, and that's all it took for them to win, a 1-0 win in that game. So I like the decision to call that timeout, get your energy back, and go ahead and kill off that full pressure as well.
There's Voittamaton looking to get something going here. Into the attacking zone. Quick movement. Shot in. They score. Well, what a decision it was to call that timeout. Leads to a counterattack and the opening goal. As Jamal the man picks the corner on Finsere. We have a lead. 1-0 Voittamaton.
And we talked about Yamal, that he was someone that could step up and really be a key factor for this Voittamaton team, and that entire play started with him. He was the one that started that breakout from the defensive zone, and he ends up getting rewarded with it back on that pass for the goal. Beautiful passing play for Voittamaton. Parasite looked a little conservative on that one. They kind of just backed up. They gave Voittamaton a lot of time, a lot of space. Yamal, the man, just kind of shot that one past Finsere, and he wasn't able to glove it in. A great play there for Voittamaton, and like you said, Tugi, that timeout, that's what caused that play. That's why you use that timeout to kill off that full pressure and get your energy back. Voittamaton got rewarded.
Speaking of rewarded, Major, you didn't even get to finish your point. Parasite have tied the game as Vatu finds the back of the net, and we are right back to square one as the backhand finds its way through.
And that's just what Parasite can do to you, right? You think you got a little bit of momentum, and then they come right on the other end and find that goal right back. And I'm kind of surprised that Voittamaton let them, get through that quickly, but Parasite did a good job. They used that boards. They were able to get that pass across, and that sweeping backhand from Vatu. Hanselinho just not able to get there in time for it. So just like that, we're tied all over again at one.
Goals, Jamal the man and Vatu. Right back to even at 1 goal apiece. So he was able to find that next goal, and if the lead lasts a little bit longer, what we just saw there. Space for Eki. Good poke check by Tombo at the last moment. It's halfway through the period. Voittamaton unable to do much there. Here's Vatu on the counterattack. The drive and a last-second poke check. Take it away. Teemu's shot, a save by Hansu, and a penalty called on Benito. He was looking to get the puck, and a chance on the rebound. Hit somebody instead. See it there, and Voittamaton will go to the power play.
Yeah, just an unfortunate tough break there for Benito. Just kind of wrong place, wrong time. As you mentioned, just trying to go for that rebound, anticipating it, hit up on that right stick. It led to him bumping someone, and that's big because remember, Benito, the center. So that means it's going to be Vatu, or excuse me, Nicky Dangles rather, having to take these faceoffs here for Parasite.
See what Voittamaton can do on this power play. One-timer, safe and Sere, second chance in Potsloff. Another tap off the side netting, just didn't have the angle.
And we talked about Voittamaton needing to take advantage of chances like this, and it feels like a lot of times if you want to beat this Parasite team, these are the opportunities that you have to try to find a way to capitalize on. I like the aggressive start, putting shots on net, testing them early, trying to see if you can break one through.
Feet in front broken up. Puck is cleared out. by Tombo. 45 seconds left on the man advantage. Eki, good protection. Gain the zone. All the man. Eki for Potzloff, another big save. Vatu able to clear, and that will pretty much do it for the power play.
Good play there for Voittamaton. Tried to sell the shot, and it led to the pass to a good chance, but Fincere all over reading that play.
There's a little bit of trouble there. Full pressure for Voittamaton. They score. A jam play on the short side. Potzloff finds the back of the net, and Voittamaton lead yet again.
Yeah, and it was right after Voittamaton got that full pressure, and you kind of mentioned it there, Tuki, just a little bit of a jam play there. Puck just kind of found its way to Potzloff. He was at the right place at the right time. Thought maybe Fincere was going to be able to get that save. It looked like he was going to be able to slide over just in the nick of time. But Potzloff so close, right in front of the net, to be able to get that one past him and give Voittamaton the 2-1 lead.
The goal for Potzloff. Is Voittamaton with the lead yet again. We'll see if they can hold on to it for more than a minute or two. Well, so far, it looks like they're going to be able to do so. Here's Eki towards the front. A shot by Tempinen is stopped by Fincere.
And if I'm Voittamaton, I am chomping at the bit to try to get that third goal. I do not want Parasite to get that next goal to tie things up the way they did the last time you had a 1-goal lead. This is a big opportunity here for Voittamaton right now.
Working at the point, D2D, good block by Benito. Tempinen tries to go back down low. Teemu's there to take it away. As Voittamaton back in possession one more time. It's Benito taking it away. The chance for Vatu on the short side. Chance for Voittamaton. The short side shot from Tempinen saved. We hit 1 minute to go in the period. As Eki for Potzloff. Now Tempinen back to the centerman below the goal line. Potzloff can't find the space he's looking for. Pick off. One more chance here, perhaps. Time runs out. But it is Voittamaton with a 2-1 lead now, giving Parasite some of the most competitive games they have seen all season long, while getting them into a bit of trouble here heading into the third period.
Yeah, Parasite trying to kind of find their way here, and Voittamaton give them a lot of credit, despite Parasite still playing rather well. Voittamaton playing just as well so far in this game. I mean, you see the stats. Tugi, pretty even so far. Parasite with a slight advantage in terms of the shots on and the time of attack, but it's not nearly as jarring as what we've seen in a lot of Parasite's game in the past, where we would see like a 4 or 5 minute difference in time and attack and then like a 10 shot differential. It's just a matter of a minute and 2 shots. So Voittamaton, they are right there with Parasite, and we heard Eki say it in his interview. If they play their A game, he felt confident this is the series that they could come in and win. So far, obviously a lot of work still to be done, but you could see what he was talking about. This Voittamaton team stepping up and playing right with the best team in the league so far.
Here we go. Third period, a 2-1 lead for Voittamaton. As Parasite looking to tie this game up here on this possession. Ocek to knock it away. Eki able to recover. Pass, though, off the mark. Now Vatu kicks back for Tombo at the point. His centering feed. Potzloff there to take it away. Now Eki again. Back to the point. Yamal the man. The shot on. Saved by Fincere. And keep him honest. Those angles. There's Parasite. With Tombo at the point, looking to pinch in. Has Vatu down low. But back to the point, they score! A broken play, but a beautiful feed back to the point, and Teemu joins in on the fun. We have ourselves a tie game, 2 goals apiece.
And we said it earlier about Teemu, his ability to step up and contribute for this Parasite team on the offensive end. The most productive offensive defenseman in the Elite Division this season strikes again. And for Voittamaton, that's why we were saying you got to chop at the bit to try to get that next goal, because you never know when Parasite's going to strike to tie this thing back up. They do early in the third period, and just like that, it's at 2 apiece.
Yet again, Parasite able to tie the game. Falling back, here's the man on the net drive and kept out by Finsere. At times, Voittamaton have grabbed the lead. That one healed by Nicky Dangles. Parasite have been able to tie it. Combo the steal. They work it down the other way. Teemu. Or Benito, the feed in front takes a weird bounce. Going to go all the way back to Finsere. Loose puck below the goal line, recovered by Nicky Dangles. Combo keeps it alive. Again, down low, Vatu wanted that short angle shot. Short side shot from a rough angle, I should say. Defense was there to take it away. 9.5 minutes left in the period. Teemu looking to step up. Back there, it ends up with Benito with the point. Throws one on, they score. Right place, right time for Vatu. Deflects one home, and Parasite have their first lead of Game 3.
You said it there, right place, right time for Vatu. And it's funny, you kind of look at the replay and, you know, Vatu, his player wasn't even totally turned around for a second on that tip play. But Parasite doing what we talk about all the time, put the puck on net, and you never know how you might get rewarded. That's exactly what they do there. They didn't force a pass that wasn't there, and that didn't let them have a turnover. They shoot it. They have that tip from Vatu being in front, in the right position, and it gives a shot on Hanselino that he's not able to save. Great play there from Parasite, and all of a sudden it feels like Voittamaton on their heels a little bit now after we were just talking about how evenly they had played with Parasite all game long.
Had the lead twice. They weren't able to find the insurance tallies that they needed. Now they trail the first time, but they have numbers here. Eki looking, intercepted by Erkungen. One-time shot from Yamal, the man. Loose puck that Finsere is able to pounce on.
And it feels like Voittamaton now, it's been a really drastic flip of the script, right? I mean, you were up by 1, you were feeling good, now all of a sudden, just minutes later, Parasite has the advantage. And time starting to become a factor here, Tugi. Just 6.5 minutes to go. Voittamaton gonna have to punch on the gas here in quick time. Not on their side right now. Parasite, they can try to coast this thing home and kill off the time as much as they want.
All at the point. Looking to step in again, forcing another save out of Finsere. Good bump by Vatu to send them down the other way. Nicky Dangles back across. And Hanselino is able to find it and get the cover.
But again, even though Parasite not able to score on the opportunity, still massive for them to get the offensive zone face-off, because again, that's less time that Voittamaton has to get opportunities to get that time marker on the other end.
Dangles one-timer, broken up. To the line, Botzloff. Back for Yamal, now Eki. One-timer from an odd angle. In front, they score! As Eki has tied the game, the back-and-forth nature continues.
I said it earlier, Tugi, right before we went to Eki's interview, he always seems to be the player that steps up for this Voittamaton team when they need a big moment, when they need someone to step up and take the reins to make that big play. Eki always seems to be the one that answers the call, and he does so again here with Voittamaton looking like their backs are against the wall, tied at 3 now. You said it, back and forth affair right now. who's going to be able to get that game winner? There's not much of an advantage now for either side.
Parasite had the response twice now with one of their own. A great save on a shot from Tempinen. We are tied at 3 goals apiece. 2:31 to go. You'd like to think at this point, the next goal will hold up as the winner. It's over the line, Teemu. It's Nicky Dangles, and a good poke check by Eki to stop that wraparound bid. Dangles wins it back off the back of the cage. Now Tempinen head of steam and a miscommunication with Eki leads to an offside call.
You said it too. 52.7 to go. You have to feel like whatever that next goal is more than likely going to be the game winner. And the interesting thing too that I just now noticed is that Voittamaton actually has gotten more shots on net than Parasite so far in this game. So it kind of goes to show you that the opportunities have been rather equal between the two teams. As you get another look there at the goal from Eki to tie this one up. Just a shot on net that led to a rebound. Eki doing a good job crashing the net, being at the right place at the right time to put that one in to knock this thing up at 3.
Here we go. 52 seconds left. In regulation, could very well be heading to overtime here. Parasite in control. They'd love to avoid that situation. Voittamaton back in control now. Another chance for them. 30 seconds left. Puck sent in. They elect not to chase. Far side corner dump. Nicky Dangles back to the point. Teemu looking. Has Benito back to the point. 15 seconds. Oh, combo. Nicky Dangles, that one blocked. One more chance here, perhaps, for Voittamaton. Eki for Tempinen, and he did not send the pass that Potzloff was expecting to see. It leads to another offside call here. Face off there will indeed send us to overtime in game number 3. We'll see who will get that next goal, Mages. Indeed, it will be the winner.
It will be the winner, and I think you have good reason to think that either of these two sides can be the one to find it. And, you know, it's not surprising to see this game come to this, right? It's been close all series long so far. So game 1, Voittamaton winning that one 3-2. It was a late goal with just under 2 minutes left that Potzloff was able to find to give Voittamaton the win, and then the other game being 1-0. It was an early goal from Nicky Dangles, and then there wasn't another one scored again after that first period. So not surprising to see these two reach it into an overtime situation, but again, playoff overtime is just so much different. It can really shift the series depending on who's able to win this one, because remember, a 2-1 series lead heading into game 4, that gives either of these two sides a gigantic opportunity to really take the reins if they were able to go in and win game 4 as well. So this game 3 overtime, absolutely massive, and depending on who wins this series, we could be looking back at this overtime and saying this was what changed things in their favor.
Here we go, overtime. In game number 3, 3 goals apiece, not enough to find a winner. See what happens. Next goal will decide who has the advantage heading into game number 4. As Teemu. Combo circles back to the forehand. They need to scan and look for the chance they're hoping to find. Out of the reach of 2 teammates. Tombo keeps it alive. And Benito didn't get all of it. If he did, that likely would have been game. That's a good pick off here. Tombo trying to send things down the other way. Good break up there. Voittamaton. To get things going here. To the line. Tempinen a scramble for it. Tombo's there. Another bouncing puck. This one corralled by Eki. Down low, wrap around. Doesn't quite get the animation that he was looking for. Of a face-off in the Parasite end.
You just see how both sides are being so careful right now with their breakouts. They don't want to create that turnover that can lead to a quick opportunity on the other way.
Face-off win for Benito. Potential offside will force them to go back down the other way to regroup. Line now down in the corner. Good movement and a crucial moment there. Tempinen couldn't get the pass away. Nicky dangles for Vatu. A big stop by Hansu. Puck still alive. As Nicky dangles in front for Benito. Couldn't get it cleanly.
That pass goes to Benito. That's likely the game winner right there. He was wide open.
Both teams with some chances here. Down the other way for Parasite. Shot on. Kicked out by Hanselino. Voittamaton will slow things down. And halfway through overtime number 1. Puck down low in the corner. Eki for Flyer Kungen at the point. One-timer blocked down. Atu, great outlet pass for Benito. Across for Nicky Dangles. Defense there to take it away. Second chance is stopped. Great effort from Benito, but here's Voittamaton now into the attacking end. Eki trying to hold on. Potzloff back to the point. Flyer steps in. Great chance for Tempinen. Another big stop by Finseri as he covers the secondary opportunity.
And boy, how good have these two goalies been so far in this overtime. A few big saves from Hansu on one end, and then you see a big save there from Finseri on the other. We said it during the pregame too, that both of these goalies, they're two of the best in the Elite Division for a reason. They can step up and make a big play that can turn the tides of a game. Could that save from Finseri be one of them?
Parasite trying to get going down the other way. Voittamaton deny that chance. Ace for Eki. Is it knocked away? 4 minutes left now in the overtime. Eki down low for Potzloff. And all the man circles through. Gets it back. Still has it. Flyer Kungen for Eki. Great read by Tombo. Lock that one down. And now it's Parasite into the attacking end. Tombo centering feed right into trouble. And Eki's feed into the middle, also intercepted. One minute to go here in the overtime. Another interception in a crucial area. Atu for Tombo. Benito can't hold on to it. Eki's there. All for Tempinen trying to cut in. A little bit of trouble for Tombo. Finseri is able to cover.
Again, remember, this is a full-time minute here in this overtime, so the 30.2 seconds going to be a full 30 seconds. So a lot of time here still for both sides to get an opportunity or two to try to win this.
Or attempt here. Parasite having to slow down. They would have been offside.
Great defense there on the blue line from Voittamaton to force that.
Puck sent around, recovered. Vatu can't get the shot off cleanly. Final few moments here for Voittamaton. Puck in the corner. Potzloff for Eki. Not going to be able to find the space they wanted. One overtime, not enough. Game 3 goes to double overtime. We await to find the winner in this one.
Overtime so nice, they decided they wanted to do it twice, as, you know, both of these two teams we've talked about pretty much inseparable throughout most of the series, and that's holding up to be true here so far in this game 3, and holds to be true in the overtime. Neither side able to find that game-winning goal despite, you know, a multitude of chances, but again, goaltending has really stepped up so far in this series. Vincere for Parasite, Hanselinho for Voittamaton, both of these two stellar in that overtime period and stopping, I think, opportunities that could have very well have been the game winner. You see the stats are really even between these two sides. This is what we expected to get. It's what we expect to see every time this group of players meet up against one another. The team names can change, even the rosters can alter a little bit. When you see these names match up against one another in the playoffs, these are the types of games that you expect to see. They're delivering here so far in game number 3.
Here we go. Double overtime. We await to see who will be the one to put their team up 2 games to 1. Getting into game 4, and we have our answer. In a matter of moments, Parasite get the win in double overtime.
And who else but Vatu to be the one that gets the game winner for this Parasite team? 65 goals in the regular season, and I mean, he comes in the clutch once again, and it just kind of comes off of that play to where you see the pass across there from Nicky Dangles from getting it behind the net, kind of wraps around, gives it over the Vatu, and you see Nicky Dangles in the chat saying there's levels to this. Parasite proving that there with a double overtime win, a massive victory potentially here in this series, heading into game 4, giving Parasite a 2-1 series lead.
Well, they find their breakthrough, and that, I'm sure, has to be viewed as a game with Voittamaton's side, where, again, you had the lead twice, you just weren't able to hold on to it, as Parasite indeed grab the win, and they'll have the 2-1 lead heading into game number 4.
Yeah, and I mean, just if that's going to be the type of game we can expect to see Tuki throughout the series, then I think it's safe to say that any viewer tuning in made the right choice on how to spend their evenings or afternoon, just depending on what side of the globe you're on. But nevertheless, you get one more look there at that game winner. Nice pass there from Nicky Dangles to find Vatu, but again, like we said, in just what has been such an even series, you do kind of have to feel like for Voittamaton, it is a missed opportunity. You held a pair of leads in this game, even had a lead in the third period. Were able to come back and tie it up when Parasite went up 3-2, but you go to double overtime, and Parasite's the one that's able to find that game winner. This is just a team to where there is such little room for error. There's such little room to let games like that slip away. It felt like that was one that Voittamaton really, really needed to find a way to win, because now you're down 2-1, and if you lose that game 4, boy, you know, you don't want to say it's a must win. We've seen this Voittamaton team do a lot of impressive things, even in championship series, but winning 3 straight against this Parasite team feels like a daunting task to ask of anyone. So puts a lot of pressure on Voittamaton for this game 4, while for Parasite, gotta feel like they smell blood in the water potentially with a chance to go up 3-1.
Game 3 in the books. Parasite 2 wins away from making it to the final. We'll see what happens. Game 4 coming up in just a few moments. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, we are back, and get a big thank you for sticking with us here at SportsGamer as we get ready for game number 4. It is now Parasite with a 2-1 series lead as they look to close out this series. And well, Major, I mean, again, you kind of talk about some of the different aspects and matchups that we have here. We've talked about the centers quite a bit in this battle, and you know, I'm thinking back to what we heard from Eki heading in to game number 3. Well, we were also able to get word with Benito heading in to this series. Very intrigued to see what he had to say. And well, we'll take a listen in now. Let's hear from Benito.
I think yesterday's games were not the best from us, especially game 1. We played with a much lower tempo than we should have, and we definitely have to increase the tempo today if we want to win. And I think overall, just improving every area of the game, and I think that's gonna lead us to victory tonight. Yeah, we have played against each other a lot throughout the years, and of course with that comes experience and seeing how the opponent likes to play, and thinking of ways how to counter the opponent. I think that of course will impact the results today, how the other team will try to counter the opponent. So other than that, I don't think there is much to it. It's just like another series, and the better team will win.
All right, and with that, Major, of course, we are that much closer to the start of this next game. As of course we were talking about the matchup between Potzloff and Benito, but I'm really intrigued, of course, to see what happens here in game number 4. Game 3 was incredibly back and forth.
Yeah, and I think that the one thing that Benito said that really stuck out to me was when he talked about the tempo, just about how he felt like Voittamaton kind of slowed them down a little bit, or maybe that they were a little bit slower in terms of the tempo and the pacing than what they would have liked. And I mean, we see it with Parasite all the time, Tuki. They love to cause chaos. They thrive on that. And really, Voittamaton, they've done a pretty good job for the most part of not really allowing Parasite to really cause a lot of that havoc that they like to in the offensive zone. It's been more about being timely and being opportunistic. I think the Parasite did a little bit of a better job than what we saw in the first 2 games of that, but still, I think you have to give Voittamaton some credit for their work defensively, and then Anselino obviously doing a good job in between the pipes, but yet here they are, still down 2-1 the series, and Parasite with a chance to really put their foot on the necks of Voittamaton if they can somehow come out with a win in game 4.
It is a very important game 4 about ready to begin, as indeed Parasite will have a chance to take a commanding 3-1 series lead. It feels a must-win for Voittamaton at this point. Again, Parasite losing just 2 games in this campaign, 1 in the regular season, and obviously 1 to Voittamaton in this series already. If you're Voittamaton, the potential situation of having to win 3 games in a row doesn't seem too likely. So, again, a lot of pressure in this particular game. As it is Parasite in control. Off of the face-off here. Voittamaton in on the attack early on. All back down for Eki. One more time to the point. One timer from Flyer Kungan. That one blocked down. Feed in front. Point blank chance for Potzloff. And a good stop by Fincere.
Good stop by Fincere. A good start for Voittamaton. This is exactly what they need. They need this game 4. The best way to try to find your way to a win is to take that momentum early and get that hot start.
Face off. Voittamaton still in control. Odd angle shot. Off the tip of the glove. Sets up Parasite down the other way. Great job. Flyer Kunga to hold on to it. Tempinen absolutely wiped out. He'll be dealing with an injury. He gets back to his feet. Net drive. Defense is there. Puck to the corner. Double team pressure. Voittamaton and, man, a broken pane of glass on the hip by Teemu. And that honestly is a bit of a break for Voittamaton as well, they no longer have to deal with that pressure. They get a face-off to try and settle things down.
Yeah, that's a pretty fortuitous break of the glass there for Voittamaton, as you mentioned. Could have been an opportunity for Parasite to potentially do something with that, but you know, sometimes you need a little luck on your side. Voittamaton getting that right there with that broken glass off of that hip check.
Off face-off. Clean win for Potzloff, but down the other way, that pass off the mark. Off face-off in the, well, pretty much the exact same scenario.
It feels like really both of those teams trying to find the way to kind of take the reins here to start this game. So you get another look at that hit there that caused the stoppage before. But again, it feels like both sides are trying to kind of find that first opportunity, that first high danger chance. Parasite yet to have a shot on net, and Voittamaton a couple of shots, but nothing really too crazy so far.
Tempinen can't pull the trigger on the shot. Penalty called here, and Parasite will be going to the power play here. Interference on Potzloff.
And that's big because Potzloff is the center, so that's going to force a winger to go up and take those face-offs. And remember, Parasite's power play, as we mentioned, one of the best in the league during the regular season, just a hair under 46%. So this is a big opportunity here for Parasite to try to get that opening goal. Saw them with a power play earlier. They were able to get a lot of zone time, but not a whole lot of shots, and were not able to score on it. So let's see if they adjust here.
Tie up off the draw, scramble for the puck that Voittamaton have, and are successfully able to clear. Parasite look to get back into the attacking zone here. Teemu for Tombo. The one-timer they score! As Vatu picks up where he left off, it is a power play goal to kick off the scoring here in Game 4.
And how long have we seen that connection to the Tombo, to Vatu, the Tunnel Vision, Sawo Esports connection? These two have been together for such a long time. They have that chemistry with one another, and you see Tombo just able to get it right over to Vatu, who rips that one-timer. Anselino just not able to get there in time. Great positioning, great aim, and then obviously that 1T ability, just kind of the cherry on top. Vatu with yet another goal. And Parasite get that 1-0 lead on their first shot of the game as well.
So the opening goal to Parasite just before the halfway point of the period. Voittamaton again had a couple leads in Game 3 that they weren't able to take advantage of. Now they find themselves trailing early on in this one. Movement for Voittamaton through the neutral zone. Potzloff tries to go low. Teemu's there. And a breakaway here for Vatu. Defense all over him and a big glove save. Anselino did a good job of tracking that opportunity, and that is a gigantic save for Voittamaton.
Those are the saves we've seen Hansu make so many times over the years. Voittamaton needed that desperately. He stepped up for them. His team's got to step up for him now as he steps up again with another big save.
Parasite putting the pressure on here. Off the face-off, a scramble for the puck. Voittamaton able to settle it down. Line, Potzloff carries into the corner. It ends up in front. Fincere pounce on it, gets the cover.
Maybe not the highest of opportunities there for Voittamaton, but still, you get it on net, you force a freeze, and you get an offensive zone face-off here now coming up. So despite it not being maybe a dangerous opportunity or a high-quality shot on net, still gives you an opportunity to maybe develop something in the offensive zone.
Shot save. Finsere, the feed in front, taken away. It's Teemu. Nicky Dangles with him. As back over for Teemu. Good stop. Full pressure. Or Parasite, but Voittamaton able to carry out. Eki able to dump it in. That was short-lived.
It's what that full pressure can do. Voittamaton, they weren't able to break in the zone because they didn't have energy, so it gives Parasite possession right back. So it just kind of goes to show you, even though Parasite weren't able to necessarily establish the zone with that full pressure, it affected Voittamaton's ability to go on the other end and counterattack.
Clean win for Potzloff. Another offside call here. .47 to go in the first period. Another offside call down the other way as things slow down a little bit here.
Yeah, it feels like that probably goes into the advantage, I think, of Voittamaton. We talked about it earlier, how Parasite kind of thrives on chaos. They thrive on that back and forth play. You know, Voittamaton's down and needs to find that goal. The more they can kind of slow things down, I think the more that plays into their hands rather than their opponents.
Good patience here. We hit the final minute. Shot from Nicky Dangles. Blocker saved by Hanselinho. Voittamaton would love to get a goal back here before the end of the period. Tempinen rifles one across. Potzloff, a little bit of trouble. Not able to find that space. And the opening goal from Vatu will be enough to carry them through the opening frame of the period. It is a 1-0 Parasite lead here in Game 4.
A 1-0 lead for Parasite, and a pretty well-deserved one. Controlled the play really in the last 10 minutes of this period. Remember, too, they didn't have a shot on until that goal from Vatu, and that came with about 9 minutes to go in the period. So Parasite kind of struggled to find their groove a little bit offensively to start out. It felt like Voittamaton kind of stalled them out. Parasite kind of stalled Voittamaton's offense out a little bit, but all it takes is one mistake. Remember, that goal was on a power play after Potzloff's penalty, and that's what led to the open space to give Vatu that goal. So it just goes to show you, capitalizing on chances, taking advantage of the opportunities that come to you, that's going to be the difference in a series where there hasn't been a lot separating these two teams. Parasite was able to do that right there. They get rewarded with a 1-0 lead after the first period.
One more look at the goal. That has propelled Parasite to the 1-0 lead, and again, potentially on the verge. Being one win away from our first Winter 25 finalist. Again, we'll be playing our other semifinal series on Wednesday as Mustakalta and Totorit wrap up their series. But for now, second period underway. As always, action brought to you by our friends at Kovalan Lakritsi. It is game number 4 in Parasite and Voittamaton. Winner goes to the live final at Assembly in Helsinki on the 20th of February. Good patience. Movement at the point here. Teemu. Now for Nicky Dangles, and again to the point, trying to get that Voittamaton defense moving. There's the one-timer. Great block from Yamal the man.
That's a great example of like what Parasite likes to do. They try to space you out. They try to get you to kind of get off of those sides on the boards to open up those one-time plays. It almost worked for them right there, but a nice job from Voittamaton staying disciplined.
Potzloff, Yamal back to Eki, who's covering for him at the point. Not able to find his pass to Potzloff. Back into the attacking zone, though. Tempinen not able to hold on to it. Parasite regain control of the offensive zone. Benito. Or Vatu can't get the shot off. Defense holds on. Now looking to transition. On the corner now, a chance for Flyer Kungen on the shot. Counterattack here for Parasite. Teemu the centering feed. Good pick off by Potzlov. Pass in front again. Both teams struggling to get those looks that they're hoping for. And Jamal the man not able to walk the tightrope of the blue line. He's called for offside.
It feels like things have kind of steadied out and slowed down this period. And again, I know Voittamaton, they need to find that goal, but it feels like this is the game style that plays in their hands, not allowing the chaos, keeping things steady, keeping things calm. They just have to find a way to capitalize on chances when they come. I think right now, though, especially after hearing what Benito said in his interview, talking about wanting to up the tempo, I think that the way this game is playing does play in the Voittamaton's hands. It's just, can they find that opportunity? And when they get it, can they find the opportunity to score on?
Scramble for the puck, sees Parasite. Come up with it, Benito. And Nicky Dangles back to combo at the point. They continue to work that left side corner. Eki's there to take it away. Over the line, Yamal able to find Potzlov. The short side attempt is stopped. Offside call here with 6:15 to go in the second period.
You know, it's interesting, Toogie. Parasite, they've been held without a shot registered so far in this period. Voittamaton, just 2 shots registered so far in this period. So kind of interesting to see how things have slowed down so drastically compared to that first period, and especially compared to what we saw in Game 3, where it felt like the action was pretty back and forth and pretty consistent.
To the corner, Potzlov takes the hit. Flyer Kungen in on the play. Trying to get some different looks here. Empinen not able to hold on to it. Teemu now, big head of steam down the other way. Shut down by Eki, but Nicky Dangles there to keep it alive. Benito on the doorstep, he scores! Right place, right time for the captain, and Parasite double up their lead. Make it 2-1.
That is a gigantic... No worries, Toogie. That was a gigantic goal there for Parasite. Starts with Nicky Dangles carrying it through the middle. Looked like he was trying to kind of force the pass through, and it hit off of a defender in front from Voittamaton. And as he mentioned, right place, right time for Benito to be there to pick that up and beat Hanselino on the backhand to get that goal. We've talked about it. The key to this series is going to be capitalizing on the opportunities. In a series where there's not much separating these two sides, you have to be able to do that. And Parasite just doing a good job of that right now in both games 3 and 4, extend their lead to 2. And now Voittamaton maybe in a little bit of trouble here.
2-0 lead in this one, a 2-1 series lead. It could be on the verge of making it 3. With less than 90 seconds to go here in the second period. 5 seconds left now. Parasite in control, but love another goal here if they can get it. A move for Benito, back again. Combo for Nicky Dangles, tried to find Vatu on the far side. Vatu for Benito, 1 second left. Combo shot into traffic, doesn't find its way home. But Parasite still on the verge here, now up 2, heading into this third period.
How about this, Toogie? Parasite had 1 shot the entire period, and it was that Benito goal right there. So it just goes to show you how big capitalizing on opportunities are. And you know how you know it was a quick period? We got only 1 replay after that initial replay that showed the play of the period. So it kind of goes to show you how slow going that second period was and how much things really stalled out. But boy, you know, you don't want to say must-win game in a 2-1 series, and you don't want to say a biggest period of the season and just game number 4 of a series, but Doogie, I'd be curious to get your thoughts on it. This period has that feel for Voittamaton. Down 2-0, you could go down 3-1 the series if this result holds. You're going up against a Parasite team that's lost 2 games all season. This feels like a game and a period right now that could very well dictate the way the rest of the series goes.
Here we go. 3rd period. And it feels like it's all or nothing here for Voittamaton. They need to battle back. Again, Parasite losing just 2 games. Regular season and playoffs combined. One, of course, of which was to Voittamaton. And a chance in front. And Hanselinho has a bit of a tough time stopping that one, but he does. So again, Major, it's just one of those things where the whole idea of having to win 3 straight games against Parasite, it just so unlike, obviously, like this is a must-win game at this point. So, Empinen not able to find his way through. Penalty called here. Parasite going to the power play. Flyer Kungen heading to the box for tripping as we get another look at it.
Yeah, you see it right there, just right at the end from that second poke check. His stick just caught the skates there of that Parasite skater and led to the tripping penalty. And, you know, Tugi, you were just talking about how this feels must win. I have to agree with you. This is a must-kill penalty now for Voittamaton. Parasite, I used this reference earlier, you can tell they smell blood in the water. If they score this power play goal and go up 3-0, Voittamaton is in desperate measures.
Atu wanted that extra pass. Across for Benito, and Nicky Dangles tucks it home on the short side. Another power play tally. Make it 3-0 for Parasite.
And he even popped the bottle there in the process. Look at that backhand, just right past Hanselinho at a tight angle. And Nicky Dangles has been just absolutely phenomenal. I feel like we talk so much about Vatu, and rightfully so. We talk about Tamu and what he does on the defensive end. Nicky Dangles has been such a driving force for this Parasite team all series long. He has stepped up time and time again. He does so on that power play, and now for Voittamaton, it feels like you kind of just got to get desperate and throw everything you can at this Parasite team for the rest of this period. But for Parasite, you know they're feeling good. You know they like where they're going. They got to keep their foot on the gas pedal. They know what this Voittamaton team is capable of. They have to keep going to keep this lead up.
A shot on there is stopped by Finsere. That's great effort from Potzloff. Just can't find the back of the net. Gotta be shots on in bunches, and there they go. Tempinen gets one on the board for Voittamaton. They're not done yet. It's now 3-1.
And that's what we were just talking about. Voittamaton gonna have to throw everything at Parasite. Parasite gonna have to stay on their heels, and that's a big goal to kind of tighten things up just a little bit. Obviously, still a lot of work for Voittamaton to do. They still have time to cut that lead from 3 down to 2. That does a little bit of the work. You have to stall into this lead. You're not going to be able to get it all back in a play or two. So a good start there for Voittamaton to kind of get things back the way they were before that power play goal from Parasite, and now you kind of tighten things up just a little bit. Going to be interesting here to see if Voittamaton can get a second goal to really make things interesting here.
Tempinen able to find the back of the net. Gets Voittamaton on the board. 13.5 minutes to go. Plenty of time here. Is Pombo a crucial pickup? Offside call here. 12:28 remaining. Voittamaton again back in the game, but they still have some work to do.
Yeah, and it feels like realistically, if you're Voittamaton, you need to try to find that second goal before the 5-minute mark. And obviously, you can't allow Parasite to find their fourth, so you don't want to get overly desperate to where you make a mistake and it gives Parasite a chance on the other end, but you have to still lean on the side of aggression, try to do anything you can to get some shots on.
Throwing more shots at net. That was a crucial pickup in front of goal. 10.5 minutes left. As Tempinen. Bring them all back to Tempinen. Shot blocked down by the traffic in front. Crucial block there again as the corner was a little bit open. As to the point, it's Eki. A lot of traffic in front. They branch out. Interception by Flyer Coogan, I don't think was intended. Shot deflected towards goal. Finsere makes the save. And the feed in front. Does not go. Here's Vatu for Nicky. Dangles, pops the water bottle, and bursts the balloon of Voittamaton. What a goal! As the party might just be over. Parasite on the verge of making it a 3-1 series lead as Nicky Dangles strikes again.
That is a stellar play by Parasite in transition. They break into the zone, beautiful passing play, and in Nicky Dangles, we were just talking about how phenomenal he has been throughout this entire series. Second goal of the game, he had a pair of goals in the last game as well. Popped the bottle on both goals in this game as well, just a little bit of a fun fact. And as you mentioned, Tugi, that might be the dagger in the hearts of Voittamaton, and a penalty for Voittamaton coming up here as well. Things falling at the seams for the Blue.
Goes from bad to worse as Tempinen heads to the box. And again for Voittamaton, now trailing by that much more. In a rough situation here.
Yeah, not just for this game, but as we mentioned at the start of this period, Tugi, for the series, Parasite on their way to a 3-1 series lead, and we've thrown this stat out a lot. A team that's lost just 2 games all season long, playoffs and regular season combined, and you're asking Voittamaton to win 3 games in a row just to keep their season alive. So that is a daunting task, and you know, obviously you don't want to start writing the obituary yet on Voittamaton's season, but the odds certainly not in their favor when you just consider the way this series has gone so far and the opponent that they're having to match up against.
There's a chance here. Flyer Kungan carries in, trying to protect, doing everything he can, gets it. They tried to go to the front. Eki's shot finds a way through. Stopped by Finsere, who plays it out. 4 minutes left now and 20 seconds on the power play. Benito trying to outweight the goaltender, had a lot of space. Defense makes a play as Eki can't find a way through. 3.5 minutes here for Voittamaton. They need 3 goals. A 4-1 lead for Parasite. As Eki steps across, loose puck, tap-in attempt from Tempinen, and it is stopped. Another big save by Finsere. This one rifled towards goal, and the Parasite netminder makes the cover. If I'm Voittamaton here, I'm pulling the goaltender. Hanselino has plenty of experience as a skater. It's all or nothing here. What's the difference between a 5-1 loss and a 4-1 loss? Not much.
I'm in full agreement with you, Tugi. I think you have no choice if you're Voittamaton. And, you know, obviously, I know a lot of Elite Division teams kind of err on not pulling the goalie unless there's just maybe a few seconds left and it's a 1-goal game. But again, what do you have to lose? There is no goal differential that matters here. You're either going to be down 3-1 in the series or you're not. Give yourself the best chance to at least find the goal to try to even this thing up a little bit. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised Voittamaton's not going to do it, especially with arguably the best goalie skater in the league in Hanselino in your back pocket.
Here's Nicky Dangles up ahead for Vatu. 1 man to beat. Drops back to Benito. Final minute here. As Eki over the line. Shot on. Stopped by Finsere. He will cover. And indeed, it looks like Hanselino will try to join in here. As it's all or nothing, certainly. Railing on the side of nothing, we'll see. Never say never in a division like this. We've seen plenty of crazy things happen before. Off the face-off, in front. Tempinen can't get the shot on. Pressure obviously on now. Bouncing puck. Hansu tried to get it over for Eki. Puck back to the neutral zone. And back on side. Couldn't hold that pass. And space now for Benito. As Hanselino showing off some of the handles. 15 seconds left. Shot on. Loose puck again. Thrown towards goal. Finsere making more saves. And pounces on it with 8 seconds remaining.
And hey, I mean, you saw there, Voittamaton got a few opportunities, and I think that's why you do pull the goalie in that situation. You know, obviously there's not as much space out there, but it gives you that opportunity to have that extra body to have another opportunity to get those shots on and create an opportunity.
As Vatu is hit, hands off for Nicky Dangles. The empty netter seals the deal. Parasite, 1 win away from making it to the live final at Assembly.
And a well-deserved victory here for Parasite. I mean, it was really about just being capitalistic, opportunistic. In Parasite, whenever they had those chances, they were able to capitalize on them. The 2 power play goals, Nicky Dangles able to really find his nose around the puck and take advantage of those opportunities. You look at the stats at the end of this game, Tugi, you'll see them. It doesn't look like there's that big of a difference between these 2 teams, but the biggest difference was that Parasite was able to capitalize. They were able to be opportunistic and take advantage of the mistakes that Voittamaton made, whether it was on penalties, whether it was defensive lapses. Voittamaton was not able to do that same thing on the other side. They had a couple of opportunities on Finsere. Not always the highest of great opportunities, but still some chances, but they weren't able to find those in the back of the net. Parasite was. That's the difference in this game, and that's been the difference in this series so far. Now Parasite just 1 win away from punching their ticket to Assembly, and Voittamaton in a world of hurt, in a world of trouble now, heading into game number 5 in terms of their final hopes.
A 3-1 series lead for Parasite. And now on the verge of making it to, I would say, yet another final. But of course, you know, it's a combination of different squads that we have seen. So technically it is their first run. But what a team it is. Again now, 2 losses as they are just 1 win shy of making it to the final. What a game for Finsere, by the way, stopping 14 of 15 shots. He has been stellar when he's needed to be.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about Finsere during the Open, just obviously the playoff stats for him not looking as impressive as they maybe could just because of that wild game 4 against Goons. What was that game? 9-7, 9-8, I believe was the final. So, you know, you kind of look at the stats and you're like, man, 75 save percentage. Finsere kind of struggled in that first round. A lot of that wasn't really his fault. And you have to remember, this is a guy that's going to be in goaltender of the year conversations, had an 85 save percentage during the regular season. He's one of the best goalies in Europe for a reason. He's shown why so far in the series. Parasite showing why they're one of the best collections of talent that we've seen in this division in years, without question. And it's going to be interesting to see how they follow this game 5 up, if they can seal the deal, or maybe Voittamaton pushes it and makes things interesting for game 6.
Perhaps it is just 1 more game to go. Game 5 coming up in just a few moments. Will it be the last for Voittamaton in this season? They have to play to survive. They got to win to survive. We'll see what happens. Stick with us again. Game 5 coming up in just a few moments.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, as you can see, caught a little bit off guard, but the teams were ready to go. Major, it is game number 5, and it's do or die for Voittamaton. They got to take it one game at a time, but a win or their season's over, and Benito strikes within the opening 90 seconds. Parasite up 1.
But even get through your intro, Tugi, without Benito interjecting and going ahead and putting Parasite up 1-0. And how about that nice little play there from Vatu to create that space, kind of delay things to allow Benito to take that open space to the middle and make that cut. Beautiful play. And Parasite, I mean, they are who they are, right? They are purely dominant. They find ways to make those plays happen. They do so in the early going. And right when you were talking about Voittamaton needing to find a way to keep themselves in this series, doing it one period, one game at a time, doesn't even take Parasite a full 2 minutes to get on the board 1-0 on the first shot of the game. It'll be interesting here to see if Voittamaton can find a way to get themselves a little bit of momentum back here, Tugi. First time we've really seen this series where either side has gotten to a quick start like this.
Right, as again, less than a minute in, and we have that opening goal. Just, for as much hope as Voittamaton seemingly had, for it to disappear that quickly is, well, I mean, hey, you're dealing with the mental battle as well. Here we go, over the line. As Voittamaton in the attacking zone. Feet in front, Tombo's there to take it away. Over the line. Parasite back in control. As we quickly approach the halfway point of this first period. And just one shot on goal. Found its way to the back of the net. Here's Vatu below the goal line. With Benito. Parasite trying to go 2 for 2. A good block there on the shot attempt from Tombo. Major, we talked about it, right? The construction of this Parasite roster. I mean, you have multiple championship, winning captains on this team. A pretty crazy just roster construction in the first place.
Yeah, and you have to remember this entire roster is constructed of the finals the last couple of seasons too.
And a goal for Nicky Dangles on the backhand makes it 2-0 for Parasite.
And right when we were just, lauding how talented this Parasite team is, the stacked roster that they have, one of those players that have been one of the longer parts of this roster in Nicky Dangles able to put that one in the back of the net. And I mean, we were just talking about it too, how good, how talented this Parasite team is. Kind of the combination of the H-Reds, Zaldoquates and Esports, Sawo Esports, Tunnel Vision teams that have kind of dominated the final scene here in the Elite Division over the last 2 years. They form into one, essentially, and I mean, this is about as close to a European all-star team as you can get. I mean, this is a stellar roster from top to bottom, and they are showing the entire Elite Division what they can do together. It's taken them little to no time to gel, and they're still pushing for that third goal right now.
It was a big save by Hanselino there for sure, and another one as Voittamaton again had a good amount of momentum in game one. 2 different 1-goal leads. Game 1 of tonight, that being game number 3. And they just weren't able to hold on to get the win. Of course, a double overtime loss. And since then, it's been Parasite pulling away in this matchup. 90 seconds left to go in the period. And again, now a 2-0 lead for Parasite.
And, we kind of talked about it, too. It felt like that game 3, that double overtime, was a missed opportunity for Voittamaton to go up 2-1 in this series and to really kind of say, hey, we're here. That one win, that wasn't just one win. We can go and consistently beat this Parasite team in this series. And then obviously Parasite kind of coming into game 4 and dominating things for the most part. So it felt like that was a missed opportunity. Obviously the series is not over, but it's going to take a lot here for Voittamaton to get themselves back into it, especially now that they're trying to climb their way out of a 2-0 deficit here after the first period.
Again, the hit from Yamal the Man will be the spotlight, but that is not the talking point of this matchup, as Parasite are really starting to pull away from this one. As Voittamaton again in trouble. Now down by 2, and Major. Again, it's that momentum buildup that's just a killer. Once Parasite gets rolling, it's so tough to stop them. We saw it with Goons in game 4, right? Like Parasite were so far ahead that they just took the foot off the gas, and Goons started to get back into it, and then bam, they were able to just put their foot down again. But when this team is rolling, when they are focused, I don't know if there is a team that can beat them in a 7-game series, at least on the European side of things.
I mean, it's hard to disagree with you. I mean, we haven't seen the evidence of it so far. I mean, they dropped 1 game to Totorit earlier in the season. We'll see if Totorit can come back from down 2-0 on Wednesday against Bustakulta and punch their ticket into the final. But then Voittamaton, obviously, they have 1 win, and the rest of the series has been pretty much Parasite being able to do what they've continued to do all season long. It just kind of feels like that question, is there a team that can match up with this Parasite team? Not just because of the talent, but just the way they're able to dominate these games and put their foot on the gas pedal. It just doesn't feel like there's been a team that's really come close to matching them and staying with them stride for stride on a consistent basis. You may steal a game here or steal a period there, and that's great, but it takes 4 wins to win one of these playoff series. I haven't seen anything so far suggest that there's any reason that Parasite can't keep this going, and until we see otherwise, that's kind of sort of what you just have to believe.
A few minutes gone here in the period. Voittamaton still without a registered shot on goal, as it's taken away yet again by Parasite. Able to get established in the offensive zone here, though. Again, trying to gain the line, and they do. Here's Zeki to the point. Big stop by Finsere. Tough save to make as well. Even again, that is the first shot on target in this game. As the one-timer for Vatu. Big stop by Hanselino as it bounces over the top of the net. A second chance is blocked down. Space here, Yamal not able to find that cut into the middle. Down low for Nicky Dangles. A move for Tombo. Good movement. Nicky Dangles tries that little short side jam play. Hanselino was there to make another save. Yamal stepping in, odd angle shot from Tempinen. Another stop by Finsere. And no icing here, as it carried through along the kick plate. Emu. Nicky Dangles the wraparound, they score. Vatu makes it 3. No icing. and perhaps no chance for Voittamaton at this stage of the series.
And that's not going to be a play Voittamaton is happy about. They went from an offensive zone face-off to allowing a goal on the wraparound because that icing wasn't called. And I think the reason potentially was just because the puck was on the right side, and I wasn't sure of the skater for Voittamaton, but he went over on the left. So maybe they didn't consider that beating the Parasite skater to the puck. I'm not too sure there about that call, but nevertheless, Parasite able to take advantage, and just one of those tough days at the office for Voittamaton at the worst possible time.
This one dumped in. Voittamaton again in desperate need of a goal here. Fight for it back down low. Tombo able to settle it down. Here's Benito looking. Toe drag shot. He scores. As Parasite are beginning to run away with it here in game number 5.
I said this a few days ago on Thursday, Toogie, when Benito made a really similar move for a goal. He's not someone that flashes the skill very often. He's a very steady, two-way center that kind of just steps up and fills whatever role his team needs him to. But boy, when he does pull it off, it is such a sight to see. It's so pretty. Does so again right there with that toe drag. Beats Hanselino, and as you mentioned, Parasite now just running away with this thing, and you feel like they can already taste assembly right in front of them here.
Well, they are certainly on the verge, barring an unbelievable comeback here. With 4:40 to go in the second period, it is a 4-0 lead now. As Eki tries to send across for Potzloff. Couldn't find the intended target. Gonna battle back in this game. Got to start with at least one goal before the end of this period. As a shot on. Saved by... Actually, no, it was blocked Vincere. Of course, just 2 shots still on target. Thought for sure that was going to be the third. Offside call here with 1:25 remaining.
It feels like now if you're Voittamaton, you kind of throw everything out of the window and just kind of do anything you can out of desperation to spark a little bit of momentum. Remember, we talked about that game 4 between Goons and Parasite a little bit. You know, Parasite, they get out ahead, they could potentially let their foot off the gas pedal, but so far, it seems like they've learned from that lesson. So unless something like that happens where Voittamaton can really take advantage of it, it feels like they're going to have their work cut out for them to try to make that comeback happen.
More chance in front. Here's Nicky Dangles. Throws one towards goal. Bouncing puck. And time expires. And it might just be about to expire on Voittamaton's season as they have just one more period to go. They are down by 4. Their season on the line. It is Parasite now just one period of play away from being our first finalist.
Yeah, and you know, it'll be well deserved if Parasite do seal the deal here in this game, and I mean, saving their best for last if that is the case. I mean, 10 shots to 2. Time on attack really not that big of a difference, surprisingly enough. It feels like Parasite have had the puck in the offensive zone for most of the time, but I think that is just because of the opportunities that they've been able to create compared to the lack of opportunities that Voittamaton have had. So it just kind of goes to show you how, though the stats do kind of paint a little bit of a picture, they do not tell the whole story, because with that time of attack, you figure that maybe Voittamaton would be a little bit closer to Parasite. Not the case so far. All of the opportunities, all of the goals, and all of the momentum in favor of Parasite, just one period away from punching their ticket into the final.
Well, here we are. It is the third period. Voittamaton need one of the most remarkable comebacks that we would have seen in our time here. As a little bit of space here. The shot from Teemu. Good save. Playing that puck may have been a mistake. Hansen's still down, and they score. The turnover leads to pressure. The pressure leads to a goal. And barring the miracle of all miracles, Major, it is Parasite heading to the finals here for the Winter 25 season.
Yeah, and I mean, Parasite now, they're just scoring in any and every way they can possibly think of. And you mentioned that the turnover there that was fortuitous for Parasite, a rip of a one-timer where Hanselino just wasn't really in position to be able to get to it. And as you said, it Parasite, barring just the craziest of things that we've ever seen here, will be on their way to Assembly Winter here in a few weeks' time. And considering where they're playing right now and the way they're playing, man, whoever has to match up against them, whether it's Totterit, whether it's Mustakulta, they're going to have their hands full. This Parasite team is something to behold, to say that.
Yeah, look there, another pane of glass broken in this one. 13:58 to go. As it's honestly going to end up being pretty similar to the series that Parasite had against Goons. What a pass to Vatu. The hat trick for the league's leading goal scorer in the regular season as Parasite put their foot down and stomp out Voittamaton here in game number 5.
Yeah, I mean, this might be potentially a win by submission at the rate this is going. I mean, we talked about the Goons game and Parasite letting their foot off the gas pedal after being up 5-0 and ended up being, what was a 9-7 or 9-8 scoreline. Well, that's not going to happen today from the looks of it, the way Parasite are playing. Not a lot of time left here for Voittamaton either to try to make something like that happen. I mean, this is pure domination. That is all you can say. This is pure domination right now from this Parasite team.
Again, I mentioned the comparison as a glove save there for Finsere. I mentioned the comparison to the way that Goons series started and ended. And Goons put up a fight against Parasite in those first 2 games where you thought, well, they might be able to grab a game and maybe it'll be a little bit close in regards to the series continuing. As we have Teemu in on a breakaway, he scores! As the wheels have fallen off for Voittamaton, Major, again, they had a chance earlier in this series and earlier even in this broadcast in game 3. They couldn't hold on for the win. And when Parasite gets momentum, they're unstoppable, it seems.
I mean, this series, it was really close and really even until it wasn't, right? I mean, you go back to that game 3 where Voittamaton had a pair of 1-goal leads. They could never find that other goal to kind of pad onto it a little bit, and it ended up going to overtime, and Parasite were able to find that goal early in the second overtime. And then last game, Voittamaton really just never seemed to be able to recover from that game 3 loss, and Parasite, as you mentioned, it just feels like they're a team where if they get that momentum, if you allow them to kind of take charge, it's almost impossible to really catch up with them. And that's the situation Voittamaton have gotten themselves in. And, you know, kind of talking big picture, Tugi, you look at this Voittamaton team, all of the history, you know, a very illustrious resume for so many of these players. I mean, you just look at the roster. I mean, really outside of Yamal and Tempinen, every single player on this Voittamaton lineup have won multiple ECL championships, but it's been so long, right? I mean, the last time that a player on this Voittamaton roster won a championship was in ECL 11. And that's kind of been the talk with this team for a while now is, have they peaked? Can they get back over the hump? Can they get back to the top of the mountain? And, you know, you kind of feel for them because they've just kind of run into a juggernaut here in Parasite that no one in this division has seemed to find an answer to yet.
A glove save there, but a penalty called as Otzloff heads to the box. And, you know, again, this was viewed as a potential finals matchup this year. A lot of people thought Exon could be in the mix for the finals, but ultimately it has been Parasite as that team that headed into the season with, having members of a championship pedigree. It has been them to lead the charge, and whether or not it is, again, Totarit or Mustakalta, they are going to have all that they can handle in that final. Again, more on the semifinal, of course, still to come later on this week, our other semifinal. For now, a big effort there by Benito, and this is where, obviously it's 7-0, but this is where you never want to see this from Parasite. If you're the opponent, they're toying around now. They're having fun. They're trying to go for more creative goals with the skating and the efforts. And that's just how you know, right? When that team feels that comfortable. Even if this series were to continue beyond this game, you would certainly have to favor Parasite, regardless of what the series scoreline might be.
Yeah, it's funny. Parasite, it's so interesting because we see them do this so often, but it's also interesting because, Tugi, you've covered this league longer than I have. There's one for Voittamaton to get one on the board to end the shutout, Tempeted with the goal, but I've never seen Voittamaton in this position either. They have never been in the position, from what I can remember, to where they were down by 7 goals in a playoff game where their season was on the line and pretty much the wheels just completely fell off like this. And, obviously, give Parasite their credit. That has a lot to do with the way they've played, but, I can't remember ever seeing this Voittamaton team and this collection of players, any of these players individually, in this situation before, to where a team is kind of just toying around against them in a closeout playoff game. It really is stunning just to see how drastically the tides turned in this series, just how sudden and how quick and how unexpected it all was.
3:45 remaining in this game, in this series, and in Voittamaton's season as... Well, the eulogy, of course, very similar to what we have seen over the past couple of seasons, if not even longer than that now, where it is an incredibly talented team that have just not been able to consistently make it back into a final setting or be able to claim, the crown as the top team, right? We saw that with the emergence of H-Reds, making it difficult for them, Tunnel Vision as well, and now you get this combined roster here in Parasite, and again, different season, but the same story for Voittamaton, as the semifinals will be the furthest that they make it, as they hit the final minute of their season, and as always, it leads you to have to ask the question of what might their future be, perhaps, right? Like, we've seen different members come and go from that lineup. We've seen certain goaltending changes and stuff like that. You never know after a loss like this how the roster might be affected, or if they're still feeling confident about their chances, and maybe it's just a matter of needing more time to build up that chemistry. Time will tell for them, but the story on this point is Parasite, our first finalist. They are heading to Assembly next month in Helsinki, Thursday, February the 20th, the site of our live final, as they cruise their way into a championship winning scenario major. Just 2 losses en route to the final.
Yeah, arguably the most dominant run up to this point in the history of this division, and Parasite just keeps bowling through and running over anyone and everyone that's in their way, even a really good, really talented, experienced Voittamaton team. And you talk about Parasite, they punched their ticket to Assembly, and I think they've got to feel pretty good about their chances heading in, no matter the opponent. Obviously, Totarit, they lost that one game in the regular season to them, but right now Totarit down 2-0 in that series, so they've got their work cut out for them. And remember this as well, too, we mentioned the stat last week during our broadcast. whoever Parasite plays, no matter if it's Voittamaton, no matter if it's Toturi, it will be against no one that has played in a final series before, let alone an in-person final series in front of a live crowd in a LAN event. So while Parasite has the talent and they have the skill and they have the pedigree, they also have the experience in this situation. They've been here before. It doesn't faze them. The lights are never going to be too bright for them. Whoever they play in this final, this is going to be their first time in this situation. There's going to be some of those butterflies. There's going to be some of those jitters. The lights might kind of strike them a little bit, you know? So if you're Parasite, you gotta feel as good as ever. After you just dismantled the Voittamaton immediately after that first game they lost. And they mentioned Voittamaton on the losing thing. I mean, you know, you talk about it, what's the truth of the team? You know, obviously, I'm sure they'll like be back, but you kind of have to wonder, been patient for a while, when does the big shift happen? When does the big change happen? You kind of thought maybe after last season it could potentially happen. This season, obviously, things were pretty wide open with Tunnel Vision, the former champion, no longer being in the league, and now Parasite kind of just collecting an all-star team and really no team in the league having an answer for them. You don't want to overreact too much, obviously, but you feel like something has to change for this Voittamaton team. I mean, we said it earlier, this collection of players hasn't won a championship since ECL 11. They've come close a couple times. They've lost some game 7s and they were making the finals, but now it's becoming a consistent trend for them to lose in the semifinals. They're taking a step back. And you just kind of wonder if a change is going to have to come. And it feels like someone's going to have to make that change to really keep with this Parasite team. We'll see how the finals go, obviously, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there is something that shifts with this Voittamaton team. Obviously, very talented, all the talent in the world, but at the end of the day, the expectation with this group is to make finals and win championships, and this core so far has fallen short of that goal and are kind of taking slight steps back from that. Now you have a juggernaut and Parasite that you have to combat as well. So this is going to be an interesting few months for them, but the story of the day, Parasite, dominant performance, dominant series after that game 1 loss, and they punched their ticket into Assembly and now await their opponent that will be making their first ever trip to the finals against them.
Well, you mentioned it. Our coverage will continue on Wednesday. It is the conclusion of our other semi-final, Musta, Kalta, and Toturi, the battle of 2 versus 3, with the 3 seed having the 2-0 series lead, Major, and that is off of Toturi. There's no nice way to put it, a choke job in game number 2. They had a great chance to win that one and have a 1-1 split. Now their work is, well, that much more daunting, much more difficult of a task as they are down 2-0 again. We'll see the conclusion of that series and find out Parasite's opponent this upcoming Wednesday. But of course, we also have our Pro Division coverage this week as well, including tomorrow. It'll be the first 2 games of the semifinal between Nova and Blackbirds. That broadcast will be conducted in Finnish tomorrow, but we'll be back on Thursday, I should say, for the final of that series right here in English, as it's the return of Brandon Bigsby. How does that typo keep happening? This B Major and myself should be on the call for the conclusion of that series to find out, well, which one of these 2 teams will be heading to our Pro Division finals. So, Major, a lot more action to come here this week, certainly.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always just so fun this time of the season, right? You have the playoffs, there's so much happening. The Elite Division, obviously, is so fun to watch, but again, the Pro Division is so fun because remember, regardless of that series and the way it goes, both of those 2 teams will have their chance to make it into the Elite Division next season via a relegation series. So Nova and Blackbirds, 2 really talented teams that have kind of emerged all of a sudden this season, have a lot of elite caliber players. Obviously, a name we're very familiar with on the Nova side in King of Apes, their defenseman. Used to play for Ahrefs, has won multiple championships in the Elite Division. Those are 2 teams that you guys are going to want to watch, and I honestly think both of them next season could be playing up here at this level, so make sure to tune in for that, and then obviously again Thursday where we be on the call. But Doogie, playoffs, it's delivering so far, man. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Congratulations to Parasite on punching their ticket in the final. I can't wait to watch you and Sin on the call on Wednesday to see who's going to be joining them here at Assembly in a few weeks' time.
So again, a lot more action to come this week here on SportsGamer. As always, check out sportsgamer.gg for all the happenings that are going on. But again, more action tomorrow in Finnish. And again, the English coverage returns on Wednesday and Thursday. But for now, that'll do it for this one. Parasite moving on to the final. We'll be finding out their opponents soon. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight, and we'll catch you next time.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.